Hello, and welcome back to another episode. What's that?
You forgot.
Oh, sorry, the intro.
What the fuck? AuDHD.
Welcome back to another episode of WTF is AuDHD with late diagnosed sisters Ellie and Paige. We were diagnosed late and we're here to educate. And I've got Bree back. Hey, Bree.
I'm back, mate. Haven't left.
You haven't, no, we
I've
literally
been sleeping in the spare room.
And you haven't changed your clothes either.
Nah.
Yeah, you slept in that.
Didn't bring a set of clothes.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely fair enough, mate. You're back to chat about post-diagnosis, and we spoke last week more about how you grew up, little stories and all that kind of stuff. But now we want to chat more about your life after being diagnosed. At what age were you when you actually got diagnosed? Was it like 30?
I think I was 31.
Yeah.
By the time I think it took me about a year. But yeah, I think I was about 31. Yeah, when I got my diagnosis.
And so that's only 4 years ago that you've actually got it? Yeah. So it's still actually quite new. And like I find that I'm still adjusting and learning new things about myself and going, oh, is that why I do that? Like I still do it to this day. And I actually still have imposter syndrome sometimes about my diagnosis and my autism diagnosis.
Bro.
Do you?
Me too. I always go, am I though? Am I? Like I literally go back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, am I just making this up?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that kind of vibe.
Totally. I do the exact same. And I think one of the reasons is that we as women especially, we're not really represented in that field. Well, we weren't. We are getting more represented now, but we weren't really represented in that field. So when we think about all of the stereotypes we learned as kids about ADHD, even though there were a few that you related to, there wasn't quite, like you were still smart enough, I think, to mask to an extent so you weren't necessarily you were disrupting classes, but not to an extent that you were like getting kicked out and, you know, being really naughty and stuff like that. We're kind of, especially girls and women, is the stereotype, but we're a bit better at kind of masking it. And so I think when the criteria is written about little boys, we just don't relate. So I still see sometimes someone talk about an ADHD experience and I might not relate to that bit. And I go, oh, yeah, well, maybe I'm not. Oh, my God. Oh, maybe I made it up.
I'm so glad you're the same.
I totally am. And I think a lot of people still have imposter syndrome about their diagnoses as well because it is. It's so weird, especially when you've lived 31 years and you don't know. And then all of a sudden it's like, here's the label. This is what your brain does. And you're like, but does it? Because like, I don't think it does. But no, it does. It's really confusing.
Yeah.
So
I'm the exact same.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people relate to that. So you got diagnosed at 31, finally, when you finally got around to it.
Yep.
And do you want to just tell us about, you had the awful psychiatrist, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then did you find another one after that, or did you go back to that?
No, never went back to her.
Yeah.
I was like,
so
never again.
Yeah.
I ended up actually talking to my GP, who I love. I've got the most amazing GP, who actually is also ADHD.
Oh, amazing.
And I feel like her and I always really connected. And I was like, well, this is the first doctor I've ever had where I'm like, oh, this woman just gets me.
Yeah.
And then she was, I think, diagnosed kind of around the same time as I was.
Oh.
But she's in her 50s, but and ended up talking to her more about it because, I didn't realize once you have, because that initial psychiatrist appointment, in the end where she was like, well, you could try medication if you wanted. This is like my...
your impersonation.
You could if you wanted. And she ended up putting me on Rubifen.
Oh, yes.
And I tried it. Didn't really do much for me. Didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
It kind of, I hated it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it because I was like, I need to try this.
Yeah.
And then kind of stopped taking it. And then for like a long time, just didn't use medication because I was like, oh. But in the end, when I went to my GP, I talked to her about it and was like, oh, I think I'm ready to try a different one and see how I go. And she was amazing and she talked through different options. And I think because she has ADHD helped.
Yes.
And ended up, trying Ritalin. And then it was actually you because she put me, like, it was quite a high dose.
She's like, we're going to get this bitch under control.
Yeah, she'd be like, I've seen this bitch over there. She's crazy. And it was actually a conversation with you where you were like, I think it's too much. And so it's been a real process for me where I've tried things, didn't like it, stopped, tried something else, too much, didn't like it, lowered the dose. And now I feel like I'm finally I've got it right.
And that took 4 years, didn't it?
To actually long time.
Yes. So that's a good lesson. Don't be discouraged if you get your diagnosis and treatment's not working for you, because there's just so many factors that can contribute to it. And you may spend 4 years trying to find the right treatment like Bree did.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you finally...
Because how long did it take you? It took you a long time too.
Yeah, like I initially took Ritalin, and initially I was like, oh yeah, this is quite good, but I did feel like this is a lot, and then I also brought my own dose down because I was like, I just feel like this is too much, and this is just a gut feeling and a little observation I've done, but I think doctors generally actually overprescribe it, and they don't realize maybe they don't realize, but I think what the issue is that all of the studies on this medication have been on men, haven't they? So your body and my body and our hormones are completely different to a male body.
So different.
So then I think that they're actually probably giving us slightly too much when we don't actually need as much, and also we should be adjusting our dose depending on where we are in our cycle. There's so much research that's lacking on this in terms of the woman's experience. But yes, it did take me a little while, and in the end it was actually me who brought it down. And then sometimes I'll do 10 in the morning. Sometimes I'll just do 10 in the morning and it's fine. But sometimes,
same, to be honest, same here.
It actually lasts quite a while for me. But then sometimes I would do 20 if I'm in my bad bit of my cycle, because I can feel my dopamine's even lower.
Because that affects it too, eh?
It really does, because estrogen helps with dopamine transmitting in the brain. And so when your estrogen drops in your luteal phase, it can't, like the estrogen's not there, so the dopamine's even less so there. And then it's just awful. So basically just do your own research, because both Bree and I have ended up kind of just trusting our own instincts and gut feelings. I've still done a bit of research, obviously. I'm not just blindly doing it, but just through my observations, I feel like often they just give too much, I think. Yeah.
And don't get disheartened, because that happened to me where I tried this medication, like the Rubifen was like, and then that whole process of, I don't have ADHD or this, blah, blah, blah. And then your head starts to go. Yeah. So, but I think eventually I always, you get back on the horse and just keep trying, because it's the same with anything. Medication is such a difficult one, because it's the same with antidepressants, or you can go years trying different things that sometimes something will be the best thing someone can take, but it's not the same for you.
Nah.
And then you just get disheartened that no medication's for you, but it's not true. Yeah. You can find the right one.
Yeah, you definitely can. That's beautiful. What did you feel when you actually got diagnosed, minus any of the medication? What did you feel that moment that you were validated that you have ADHD? What was that first month or so like? Was it grief? Was it happiness? Was it tell us about that?
I remember getting my diagnosis, and I walked to the car, bought an almond croissant, sat in the car and cried and ate this almond croissant. And I think it was a combination of sad tears but also happy tears. It was weird. Yeah. It was a real weird emotion, and just a lot of emotion where I felt validation. I felt grief for the person that I thought I always was. And yeah, fuck, it was so overwhelming.
It is, I feel like it's grief and it's relief. So you're sort of like, oh, I'm so happy.
That's a great way of describing it.
Yeah, and then, oh my God, and then you get sad for your younger self too, because you look back at little Bree and you go, oh, she was just distracted, or she was just dopamine seeking, or trying to make her mum laugh. She wasn't a bad kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you felt validated. Did it make a lot of sense from your 31 years before that? Did you feel like a lot of stuff clicked a little bit?
And I think I went through, I reckon it wasn't even a month. It was quite a few months, where I'd have a thought or I'd do something. I'd be like, oh, and that continued to happen. And I would just have these moments constantly, and it would make me think about something from my past, and then it would validate that behavior. And then I'd be like, that's why I'm like that, or that's why I'm doing that. Yeah. And just it made me so much more self-aware, but also I think it also forced me to be a lot kinder to myself, which I never had been. I'd always just been super hard on myself, which I still am. Yeah. And I think I go through waves, but especially in those however many months after my diagnosis, I was just, so much more kinder to myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Classic, same. I think that's one of the biggest things about diagnosis and just understanding is just giving yourself the self-love.
Yeah.
Because we take all these messages from everyone saying, you're too much of this, you're too little of that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And we internalize it all and we think all of that. And then when we get that answer and that label, it's like, oh, I'm not actually that. I just work differently. And it's such a relief. But then it's also, grief. Because you're like, oh, this whole time, this whole fucking time. Do you reckon as well, like, how's your anxiety these days? I know it's still there, but like, has that subsided at all? Or is that still just as bad? Yeah.
No, I think I go through waves, which I think I used to go through waves anyway.
Yeah.
I think the big difference for me now is being able to recognize it better and having tools that I've worked on like in myself where I can handle things a little bit better. And to be honest, sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. Whereas it used to be I never did.
Yeah.
So I think it's still a process for me.
Totally.
And I'm still not quite like I haven't got to the point where I'm like, I got this under control.
Yeah. No, exactly. I don't think I have either. It looks like I do because I got this podcast, but I'm really still just guessing my way through it. But it's cool that you've seen at least some progress in your life.
Totally.
Yeah. How do you, obviously, your job's in the public eye. That's a lot of pressure to be putting yourself out there on the line every day and talking about your life and blah, blah, blah. Have you noticed, has your experience at work changed since your diagnosis? Has it become better? Do you feel like you're more yourself, or how's that in the workplace? How do you feel now?
That's such a good question. I think it definitely has. I think it's allowed me space to, like I said, be kinder to myself and recognize certain behaviors or certain things that I do where I think I've really changed at work for the better, where I let a lot of stuff go now.
That you would usually care so much
that
about.
I usually would care so much and it would wind me up, and I like got to this point and I think it's a part of my diagnosis as well where I'm kind of like, the only person this is hurting is me. The only person this is affecting or stressing out is me. And so like, why not just let it go?
Yeah.
And then I get the benefit of that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And fuck, what a life change.
But it's hard as well. Because you come out, like, you have to come out of your own brain and, like, look at it objectively.
It's crazy.
And then when you've cared about things your whole life, especially your job and your career, it's very hard to, like, let things like that go because you're used to just clinging on to everything.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad to hear that you're having a better time now in the workplace.
Oh, best time I've ever had, I think, in my life.
Yay.
And isn't that coincidence that I've got a diagnosis? No, I don't think so.
I think it's quite correlated, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. And you've talked a little bit about it on the radio, eh? Like, you've talked about ADHD on the radio. And do you get, like, good responses from people on, like, the text machine and stuff?
Yeah, I do.
That's nice.
It was wild, actually, when you filled in on our show and we had this great conversation about it.
We did.
And we got such good feedback where I feel like there is so many other people who are going through the exact same things that we are.
Totally.
And it's just another one of those things where I feel like it connects you to people on this deeper level, which is, I think, what I've always craved in my life because I have struggled with that in the past.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I am able to connect with people on that deeper level, like, it just, I think, gives me something in my life that I've always wanted. So it's been amazing. Yeah, because I think those are the true moments in radio that are really special.
Totally. The real moments, the actual, like, being authentic and just putting yourself out there and on the line. And, I remember that day we had that chat and the text machine was just, the feedback
blowing
was so
up.
lovely. Yeah. And I was like, damn, man, like, should we be doing this, like, as a segment once a month or something just for some education? Because I feel like, again, the education's still lacking, and that's why I'm doing this podcast and stuff. But there's so many people, I think, especially in creative industries like radio. Like, I look at so many people we work with and I'm like, that person probably...
They're everywhere.
Yeah, it really does attract.
They are everywhere.
They are. I think radio is such a good one for ADHDs, especially because it's so versatile and it's dynamic, and you've got to be on the radio at this time per day. There's no excuses. You have to be there at 3.
And it's immediate.
Yeah, exactly.
Be like, got an idea? Okay, sweet, we'll do it now.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I loved radio for that. It's just such a great place for ADHDs. So that's why I think it's full of them. And most of them don't even know it, I think. Are you taking, like, any other medication, or is it just the Ritalin now?
So, yeah, I'm just taking, and to be honest, I don't take it every day.
Yeah, neither.
There's most of the time, like if I'm like, okay, I've got a big day today, like I will take, 10 in the morning, 10 like at midday. And then some days I'll just do 10, in the morning. And then some days I don't take it at all.
Yeah.
Especially like if I'm not like at work.
Yeah.
I don't really like, I want to just like let myself obviously have those days where I can just kind of be off
Chill.
of it.
Yeah, totally.
But no, and I'm still experimenting with it as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's healthy to keep doing that because yes, this is working for me, but there might be something better.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. And our bodies change too. Like as we get closer to like perimenopause and stuff like that, we might need to again adjust
God,
the
add that to the list.
That's grim, eh?
Yeah.
Sorry to bring that up, but far out. We're getting there. Nah.
You can do a podcast about that.
I was going to say something and then I classically forgot what it was.
Because I interrupted you.
Probably.
Classic me.
She's found it.
Okay,
She's found it.
Got it.
Okay, I was going to say, is this what have you implemented if you want to share? Like any strategies or anything someone's shared with you or that you've created yourself, any strategies that you now use because you're diagnosed and you know how to work with your brain?
Yeah, I think a few big things for me, exercise.
Yeah, I hate to
which
say
I
it.
know is fucking duh.
I know.
I've made it a real priority.
Nice.
And to be honest, sometimes I fall off the wagon like today. Didn't go. But, don't be super hard on yourself if you don't. But
Totally.
I have made it a priority on like days where I know I've got the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to exercise.
Good on you.
It does great things for my brain, my mental health, just all of that. But also just like little things. Like I used to at home when I was finding content like for work, for the show, I'd sit on the couch, I'd have the TV on, I'd have the radio going in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
And I'd be on my laptop and then I'd be looking at stuff on my phone. And then I'd wonder why like I couldn't concentrate and I'd be so exhausted by the time I got to work.
Just overstimulated.
And so now a few things I do is like I'll go outside. If it's a nice day, I'll go outside.
Nice.
Which is like just the sun is awesome. Go
Yeah.
outside, not have a million fucking things going on in the background, which I know our brains chase that.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I know that is my ADHD brain where I just want to have a million things going.
Yeah.
But I just will focus on one thing at a time.
Nice.
You know,
Good.
and it seems so fucking simple, but it can be so hard. But that's something I've been really strict on where I'm like, okay, and I've given myself a time limit.
Oh, nice.
Because like I used to 2 hours would go by, 3 hours just like like on the internet and it would drain the life out of me.
Yeah.
You know?
It's depressing looking at the news and stuff
Oh,
for
it's
that long every day.
awful.
Yeah.
So now I'll be like, sweet. 7:30 till 9 o'clock, that's your window. Like, and I just give myself a deadline where I'm like,
Nice.
that's your window.
That's awesome.
Just like little things like that. But
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out stuff as I go.
Totally. I mean, it's cool though that once you have that answer and you understand how your brain works, it sounds obvious, but when you are in the trenches and you don't have the diagnosis and you're in fight or flight constantly, you don't have any like target or any way to ground yourself. You don't know what you need.
Yeah.
And then now you know what you need. And maybe they're really basic little things, but
I
it's
just need
being-
structure, eh?
Yeah. ADHDs really do need structure, but then it's really hard for us to put that structure in place. So it's like, what are we supposed to do? And I think that's why a lot of us at school kind of go under the radar because there's structure. And then I definitely, after school, just fell off the wagon.
Plummeted.
Yeah, because I just didn't have any structure and no one was telling me where to be and what time. And oh my gosh, it was like this crazy newfound freedom, but it wasn't good for me because I felt really, really lost.
Yeah.
So structure is very, very good.
How do you put structure into your day, like working from home and...
To be honest, I'm still working on it too, and like
it's a process.
It's such a process. In some weeks, like when I'm in my good bit of my cycle, I'm pretty good at like coming over and getting into the office and doing all that.
Yeah.
But then on my bad weeks, I just find it so hard to find the motivation to even get up, and then I'm doing 10 things at once because I'm panicked and I think I need to finish everything, and then I'm doing everything, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything now because I'm so overwhelmed.
Never related to anything more.
It's
I hate when I'm like that.
Yeah, it's awful. And so, yes, I've also implemented exercise recently, and what do you know? Bloody helps, doesn't it?
Who would have thought?
I
And it can be something as simple as going for a 20-minute walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got a dog now, and she's actually changed my life in that way because she needs to walk. I don't need to walk. Well, I do need to walk, but I won't walk for me.
Yeah.
But I'll walk for Ruby.
Exactly.
And now I'm just like so much better off. So I have that little routine even has actually helped me a lot, knowing that at least 3 times a day I've just got to take her out somewhere. It's really good. I'm lucky because I work from home, so I do have that freedom. And I went back into radio, as you know. And
what was that like going back into radio? Because that would have been the first time you would have had your diagnosis and then know these things about you.
Yes, it was really interesting because I think I was in burnout anyway. Then I recovered from it, and then when I came back into radio, it just drained me straight away. Like I didn't know how I did it for so long. And I don't know how you continue to do it every day. Honestly, I admire it.
Neither.
Yeah. Survival mode. I found it because I was medicated, I could concentrate a bit more.
Yeah.
And I just knew knowing how my brain worked, it was just more enjoyable. I didn't feel as like panicked. I think when I worked with you in 2018 to 2020ish, like I was always just in panic mode.
I felt that too.
Yeah, and we'd do some great stuff and we were high achievers, but man, we were just in panic mode, and our anxiety and like cortisol and adrenaline was just constantly being like squeezed out, and I'd come home and be ugh. And I didn't really have that same when I did radio recently, but then adding in the fact I was getting up at 4 a.m, I was very tired because of that.
Yeah.
But we always say that Bree and I would love to know what it'd be like working together again now that we're both diagnosed.
So interesting.
It'd be so interesting, and like medicated and just understanding how our brains actually finally work. My God, but who would have thought, We're both just neurodivergent little bitches, hey?
That's all it was.
That's
mate.
all it was, wasn't it?
All it bloody was.
It's all it bloody was.
Few things I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
I saw a thing recently. Because do you know, have you, since your diagnosis, like, will you learn things about yourself or like see things and be like, oh my God?
Yeah.
And it will add to the case of, I do have ADHD. Because there's obviously always, like we talked about before, there's things where you're like, maybe I don't have it. But then you see the things where you're like, maybe I do.
Yeah.
One thing I saw recently, like literally last week, and I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah.
So throughout my life, my adult life, people would always comment on my writing. And it was so funny, like when, the birthday card that I gave you today, right? Like, and I'm so hyper aware of it now, where I'd go from just caps to running writing to, and it would just be all fucking just all types of writing within one.
Yes.
Apparently
I saw this recently too. Apparently that's ADHD writing or something.
Yes.
It's like, yes. So yeah, I did vaguely see this and I went, hang on a sec, because as a kid, even growing up, like I would have different handwriting depending on the day. Like if you look back at one of my writing books, some days it was really nice. I'm like, oh my God, that looks good. And then other days it was just like scribble and yes. So no, I did see that recently and I was like, is that actually an ADHD thing? It kind of makes sense though in a way, because we're constantly, I reckon if I'm passionate about it, my writing's good maybe. This is a generalization, but I feel like at school in particular. But like if I was passionate and I cared, maybe it was tidier. And then if I didn't care and I just wanted to get it done, it was just messy as. And I think it just depended on my mood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I write completely different as well. Like
crazy, eh?
Yeah, totally.
Even to this day, like I'll start, like if I'm writing a birthday card, I'll start writing it in uppercase, like just all uppercase. And then all of a sudden it turns to running writing. And then like there'll be some lowercase. Like, and I've always like thought that was weird.
Yes, same.
And my partner has commented on it, being like, why do you write like that? And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
And then I saw that.
I saw that too. And I think it must be, it probably is. Because I'm the exact same. And yeah, if I was writing something, it could go from one type of writing to another type of writing in the same project or whatever it was. I did see that. And I think that makes sense because as a kid, I literally had these questions in my head as a kid. Why is my writing never consistent? Is what I always used to say.
Never consistent. Like it looks like multiple different people that have written.
Yeah. Oh my God. So if we ever do a murder and they need to like look at like a letter, they're not going to know.
They never know. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is literally yesterday we did this content on our radio show where essentially I saw this trend where you would ask your ChatGPT, what is my curse?
Oh.
Don't explain.
Oh.
And I thought, let's do yours in a second.
Yeah.
Or do you want to do yours?
Okay.
And then I'll tell you what mine was.
Okay. So I just
so
type.
you go, So you go, what is my curse, comma, don't explain.
Don't explain. So what is my curse, comma, don't explain like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I just want to see what yours says.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Empathic entanglement.
Makes sense.
Wait, so that's like...
And you know where that's rooted in?
What?
Being so hyper self-aware.
Oh my God, what's yours?
Same.
Is it?
Not exactly, but hold on, where was it?
Oh my God.
I'll tell you. It says, your curse is hyper self-awareness. You replay moments, the awkward comments, weird jokes, accidental overshares like a director's cut in your head at 2 a.m. And then it says your brain keeps them on a highlight reel, zoomed in with full emotional surround sound. It makes you incredibly empathetic and self-reflective, but also kind of haunted by your own greatest hits of cringe.
Oh my God, that is you.
Explain more.
Oh my gosh, that is so you. Like knowing you, that is so you. That's hilarious. Okay, mine says it means you feel other people's emotions so strongly that their energy, moods, and pain can blur into your own. Mm-hmm. You don't just empathize, you absorb. It's a beautiful strength when used with awareness, but a curse when it leaves you drained, responsible for everyone's well-being or unsure where you end and they begin. Oh my God, this is like my life to a T.
It is you to a T.
Yeah, it ties in with your egoism and high empathy. You mirror others so naturally that their emotional states can shape your own before you even realize it. Oh my God, that's freaky.
Isn't it creepy?
That is really one of my curses.
How do they fucking know?
How often do you use ChatGPT? Like, does it know you quite well now?
See, I was too scared to sign into it in case it was stealing my data.
Same. I was also really like, what is this?
It took me ages.
Yeah.
I think I signed in yesterday. But I've used it. This is so weird, but I've had quite a few big stressful things, emotionally draining things going on in my life over the last however many months. And I've used ChatGPT like always as a form of like, seeking information, which it's great for, but also like a bit of a form of comfort.
Yes.
Where I feel like it provides, which is scary to me.
It is scary. But it validates.
Weird, but yeah.
It does validate, eh?
And sometimes I do think like when I'm reading, I'm like, you're just telling me what I want to hear. But I was like, right now, that's what
I'll
I need.
take it. Literally. Sometimes we just want people to sit there and go, I get it. I understand.
That's hard.
Yeah, that is really hard. But that's freaky because that is exactly me and you. Like you do, like we were talking about, you're in the public eye. You often, everything you say pretty much is out there because you're on TV, you've written a book, you're on radio. So you're always probably overthinking, especially with your anxiety, everything you're saying.
Yeah.
But you never offend anyone because you are actually very empathetic and compassionate and stuff. But it is hard being out there in the public eye for sure. And that's been my curse for my whole life actually, is the empathy for others and never looking after myself.
Okay, no.
Oh my God, I feel really like vulnerable and naked.
But isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, yeah. Do you have any parting words or any advice or anything you've learned about yourself or ADHD or anything that you just want to share with people listening at all?
I think probably the only thing and the biggest thing for me, and something that's really helped me is that being able to be comfortable and live in the fact that you're probably never going to have every single thing worked out perfectly.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and just being able to sit in that space where you're like, okay, I don't have this perfect at the moment. That's not working, but I have this going for me. Or and I think it's really hard because us as ADHDers, like, especially for me, you're always like, I'm looking for everything to be perfect and right.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it exists.
No, that's great advice because it doesn't. You can't control everything. And I think a lot of the time, especially knowing that we're a bit lost our whole life, we always try and control everything and be in control and be perfect and stuff. But once you realize it's actually not attainable to be completely perfect, that is great advice. And because it only ends in like disappointment, really, doesn't it? If you're constantly looking at what you're not doing and what you haven't got yet and stuff like that and trying to just look at the good stuff. Because you're a good example actually of someone who from the outside appears just completely together. Sounds like I'm saying that you're a mess. You're not, but like
no, but I am.
But like from the outside, you're successful and you're in the public eye, but then deep down you still battle with the self-esteem. You still battle with the imposter syndrome. You still feel like you're not good enough. And I think as humans, we all kind of feel like that, but especially neurodivergent people, it never really goes away, does it?
Yeah.
Even if you have a whole audience of hundreds of thousands of people, it almost in some ways becomes even harder because you're more self-conscious and self-aware because you don't want to offend anyone. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that because it's great advice. Yeah. And thank you for sharing your whole journey with us and chatting to us.
Thank you for having me. This has been like a lovely process.
Hasn't it? I've really enjoyed myself actually.
But this is how I feel every time that you and I like get together and chat. I feel like we're always just like, and what about this? And what about this?
Yeah, literally you one of the people that fills my cup. And I think a lot of my life I didn't have friends that I love all my friends, but a lot of the time because of the empathic entanglement that ChatGPT's just revealed, I would often leave drained from any interaction. But I never feel like that with you. Like
I feel I see you for you.
You do.
Like
you
a lot
really
of the time.
You really do. You're one of the few people I can really just be myself in front of and actually unmask and just not feel like an idiot because you're an idiot too. So it's
and you like I love that you feel comfortable where you're like, I'm in this headspace, can we reschedule, you know? Yeah. And I love that we have that relationship.
Me too. I feel so lucky to have you. And thank you again for sharing your, like being vulnerable with us today and just sharing your journey. And maybe we can get you back another episode if everyone wants more of Bree.
If they don't, then be nice hanging.
So you let it know. Where can people follow you if they want to follow you?
Yeah, they can follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Bree Tomasel, spelt like the name, not the cheese.
Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Nice,
hey, thanks, Bree. And thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode and we'll catch you again next week. And Paige will be back after her gallivanting around the bloody planet. Paige will be back next week. So I finally got my co-host back, but I wouldn't mind if you stayed.
Hey,
actually.
Mate, let me know. I'm here, available. Yeah, got heaps of time. Stay weird.
Bye.